everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Bold Takes and Bad Tempers. I am your host, Zachary Ronaldo, better known online as Zach the Bold. And I know that I usually start the show a lot like this, very often, where I say it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week, and it has just a little bit. But each time it's different, all right? And we'll get into that to a second. We have our nose to the grindstone for this next month. We have 4 long forms coming out, including an episode of Corners. So for those who are waiting for that, that is coming out as well. But the reason that it's been a rough week is because I've had some rough interactions this week. I really have. And, you know, I don't go outside that much. Not bragging, not to be like, I love staying home. I'm working when I'm home. I've said this a million times. Shout out to my HVAC people, to the bricklayers. We know how it goes. But I've never been one to kind of be like, I've had bad interactions with boomers. You know, I actually don't interact with them that much. I live in LA. There's not many around, and especially children. I don't interact with like kids at all. Pause. But every now and again I do. So I'm at the gym, and sorry, let me establish first, your first time listening. This is the first and only D&D podcast ever made. And that's what we talk about. But this is a small interjection to begin. I'm at the gym. When I go to the gym, it is after the morning rush. People are at work. I wake up early. I check my emails, wait for that rush to die down. Then I drive to the gym. The gym I go to can hold 60 to 100 people. There is so much equipment in that gym. It has been there since the dawn of time. When I go, there's typically 5 people there. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. I'm working out. I'm on lat pull downs every time. And this is good advice too. If you don't know, I am a fitness influencer. So take this advice to heart. Unless you can sue me for it, then don't. When you work out and you're doing heavy sets or you're doing drop sets, or terrible twos or whatever they're called, you like stop in between, have a little bit of a break. I do about a minute and 30 seconds. And yes, I go on my phone. I look at the news. I see what's going on in the world of D&D and Magic. I feel like the camera's too high. Like my hands are disconnected from my body. Like I'm a puppet in a way. Is it bright in here, folks? Is it bright? So I'm working out, I'm doing lat pull downs, and sometimes, I go a little bit over a minute and a half, but nothing crazy. Also, there's no one in the gym, so I'm not even thinking about it. I'm having a slow morning. For those of you who don't know, a lat pull down is the machine where you like grab, you sit down and the little cushions go on top of your knees, and then you pull down the bar to your chest, so it engages your lats, okay? Therefore, lateral pull down. And I've never been to a gym that doesn't have more than like 30 of those in a single sitting. So I'm sitting down, and all of a sudden, this older woman approaches me. Probably about 60, 70,000 years old. And she goes, like she talks, but I have noise-canceling headphones on. And so I take them off, and I go, what? And she goes, how many more sets do you have? And instantly, when I go to the gym, I take everything that I'm mad about, because I do this show once a week. I don't every day have an outlet. I take everything I'm mad about in my life, and I condense it down into my time at the gym. I play like dubstep. I play Grizz or Septronics. Sometimes I play old songs like Bumblebee. I shouldn't say old songs, but like Bumblebee or Bulletproof. And I'm just angry, and I'm doing this. I read online that the minister, the AI minister of Albania is pregnant with 83 children, and I just start going ham. So anytime anyone approaches me in the gym, I have to like reset. I have to don't be mad. Like, this is crazy. I'm just trying to be mad so I can get a better pump. So I take off my headphones, and no, there is no one around me. And she goes, how many sets do you have left? And I go, about 2. And she goes, well, I'm waiting for the machine, so maybe if you got off this. And she taps my phone. And maybe if you got off this, then maybe you would be off it by now. Maybe you would be on a different machine. I look at her and I go, actually, I think I'm going to take a little bit longer now. And then she goes, well, if you're going to sit on your phone, you shouldn't be sitting. Let me paint a picture for you guys real quick. I'm doing a lateral pull down on a part of a large pulley system. On my left are 2 row machines. On my right are 2, I guess you could just say like regular pulley systems. You can do biceps or tries and across from me, not 3 feet, is another, the same, because it's all part of the same pulley system, the exact same 1-to-1 lateral pull down machine. And no one's on it. Remember, there's no one here. We are in an extra planar gym. We are in a gym that you can only access if you were born on the extra day of a leap year, which I was not. And she goes, well, I go, ma'am, there's another one, right? And I'm upset at this point, right? Like already, I had no time to reset by the time my headphone came off my ear to her tapping my phone. I go, ma'am. Okay, I don't go like that. I am polite. Like, come on, I'm standing up because I've stood up to address her, and I'm a foot taller than her. She was there when carbon was first made. She's seen the pyramids turn into a tourist attraction. Like, come on. I'm not going to get in this old lady's face and be like, you listen here, ma'am. But I go, ma'am, there's a, okay, I did say it like that. But I go, ma'am, there's the same thing, the same lateral pull down right there. And I point to it and it's right there. You know what she says to me? She goes, yeah, but this is my favorite one. She goes, yeah, but this is my favorite one. And the numbers, Mason. Reznov died in Vorkuta. My MK Ultra sleeper cell activated. I go, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to take even longer. And this is so funny because the gym I work out at is like a John Green movie setting, you know in Juno, that I don't think is connected anyway, but in Juno, like you can tell the other girl likes older men because the way her like room is set up, it's set up with all these posters of like these older men. The gym I'm at tells a whole story. It tells a whole story. The owner of the gym started when he was a bodybuilder, and everywhere are pictures put up of these old bodybuilders from like even World War II and names and him with family. And you can see as you literally look around this gym, his entire life. And he's an old man now, and he just like doesn't even care, and he runs this gym. And you look, and there's a wall where people sign their names, and some of them have faded and lost to time, and some are newer. And there's even a wall where it's like of people he knew who have died of cancer or survived cancer. This entire gym itself is like a lesson in environmental storytelling. And so this lady probably knows the owner of this gym from back when the concrete was poured, right? Back when they were a part of the celestial wind of the Big Bang. Okay, that's rude. I'll stop. But I'm minding my own business in an empty gym, trying to do lat pull downs. And this lady comes up to me and tells me this is her favorite lat pull down machine. She clearly just wanted to tell me to get off my phone, and she wasn't minding her own business. And she looks at me and she goes, well, I hope you have a great day. And I go, yeah, you too. And I sit down and I'm doing lat pull downs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I gotta start over. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's 1. And I was just like, this is what's gonna happen. She's gonna go up to the owner of the gym. She's gonna complain, and I'm gonna have to undress my suit and take off my glasses and try to be human with the owner of the gym and just be like, hey, I was minding my own business. This lady clearly has a problem, and she just doesn't like me for whatever reason. She thinks I'm a hooligan because I have my hat and then a hood and then my headphones on. And he's going to be like, well, I've known Dorothy Betty Sue. I've known Dorothy Betty Sue since the first war ever. That is actually Eve. That's Eve right there. And I'm like going to have to just tell him, I'm going to have to be like, hey, don't kick me out of the gym. Well, it turns out she didn't say anything. But I go home and the whole drive home, I'm white knuckling the steering wheel. They got homes for $30,000 and now I can't own one. And everything that like is coming, sure they had Vietnam and Korea, but they at least have a home. No, I'm joking. But that started off my week and it was a little rough. And fast forward to just a couple days ago and I was going to go see a local community theater. I should say it was at my local college. It was at the college that I went to in Michigan, where I got my film degree. And they put on a showing of The Glass Menagerie. And during the second act, we're sitting about front row and center. We have great seats. It's a small college, right? Like it doesn't have a great coliseum. And this lady who isn't here in the first act comes after intermission and she sits in front of us. And I'm sitting there with my girlfriend. And the lights go down. And then the light comes up. Not of the stage. Not of the stage. This lady opens up her laptop. She is, not kidding, first row. And the way that this auditorium works is not like it's like a lifted stage. It is built like a coliseum in the sense that like the stage is the floor and it ascends upwards. And so she has her feet right next to the stage. She opens her laptop up. Instantly, me and my girlfriend look at each other. I look forward. I have the biggest smile on his face. I think this is the funniest thing in the world. This old lady in the middle of this college theater production has her laptop open front and center. Front and center. And she's sitting next to her husband who isn't saying anything. And my girlfriend guffaws. She's in such astonishment. She literally, like, in this serious play, laughs. She goes, "Huh!" So my girlfriend leans in to see what important thing this lady has to be writing to have her laptop open in the second act of a show she wasn't here for the first act. In the front row! She leans forward, and I expect her to be writing an obituary. She just got her house foreclosed and is asking r/personal finance on what to do. She's coding the 82nd baby of the Albanian minister, Albanian minister. She's looking up Halloween recipes. She's looking up Halloween recipes. So my girlfriend politely leans down and she goes to whisper in her ear, and I take a bag and I throw it over her head and over the lady in front of me, and like in Goodfellas. No, I don't condone that. And she goes, hey, can you close your laptop? It's incredibly distracting. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, and closes it. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with them? What is it with, is this just how outside is? That every time I go out, I just have to survive? And listen, I have said on the show many times before, I am not the smartest guy in the room. I acknowledge that. Last episode, I had to look up what Tempest meant, all right? But I'd rather have that than someone who thinks they're all high and mighty, and they're like, well, what is wrong with people? I'd rather have, at least I know at any theater, it could be someone putting on a show on the side of the street. They're probably either professors at that college, or those are some of their kids, or they're a multi-billionaire financier of the college of the arts, and they think that they own the place. How unself-aware, how much can you lack self-awareness that you open up a laptop? They're playing Pop Tropica. They're on coolmathgames.com thinking they're the wisest person in the world. What are you doing? And that was a big thing about my college. is that it did have that like holier than thou. Yes, it was a Christian college, but I want to say, in LA, I've met a lot of people like this who are secular. So I don't want to say that is not the reason. But like they think they care about it's like they are a walking oxymoron. They think they are the sweetest, kindest people in the entire world, and they lack all the self-awareness that they could possibly have. And these people, and some people are just vile, and they're vile. And I think everyone is a little bit, but I prefer it when it's, these are my friends are like, hey, listen, I've done some bad things in my past. Someone that's out of like an old, like a ballad, someone who I enjoy the presence of other people who are like, I'm trying my best to be a good person, but I will lay down what is real. And I will acknowledge that I am also not in the right 24/7. I can't stand people who are in this constant competition of being the most kind at all times. Well, I'm kinder than, well, actually, I'm. And then they're just like, they'll never confront anything bad. And they just have an aversion, a total aversion to anything bad. And this is exactly what my college was. They could be being crushed under a hydraulic press and being like, well, this is just not right. Someone should do something. And then when my girlfriend, who has a big pair of balls, leans down and goes, can you close your friggin' laptop, please? What are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, what? What were you thinking? So yeah, this is a D&D podcast. We talk about questions people send in, and I give them answers objectively correct. But just like, I was talking to another one of my buddies, and he was like, yeah, I can't go to a bar anymore because I let on this girl for a little bit. And, and it was bad, and I was dumb. It reminds me of that picture, that Silent Hill image, where it's like, my dick has led me places I wouldn't go without a gun. And I've had those. I'm in a happy relationship now, 2 years strong. But before then, I would literally go on dates and just for no reason, because I thought, and when my friend says this to me, I'm like, that is so refreshing after the week I just had. I go, yes, exactly. All right, this will be a side tangent, just real quick, and we'll get right into questions. But I distinctly remember when I was in college, I had left to go on a double date with this girl. And I had met her and her friend at an Applebee's, all right? I didn't have a lot of money. We're in college. Who cares? Applebee's is a great first date choice if you're in your early 20s, all right? And this other guy showed up for her friend, whatever. It was fine. Right away, I could tell this is not my group of people. There was lulls in the conversation, and this one guy was just, he might as well have been like that kid in The Christmas Story, where he's like playing with his food and he's like a jester clapping his hands. Well, they want to go afterwards. They want to go to a local like department store. In Michigan, we have them called Meijer, Kroger, Jewel Osco, and all those other places around, everywhere else, Ralph's and LA and stuff. And we go in, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And they go to the kids aisle, and they start like kicking soccer balls around and stuff. And I'm just like looking for an out. I'm literally watching these full-grown adults, mind you, like mess with kids' toys, ripping open cardboard. I go, dude, this is a wake-up call for me. This is the worst thing I've ever done. And all of a sudden, like I'm about to leave, and this lady like taps next to me, and the girl comes over to me. This lady's like, hey, do you want to buy some food stamps? And I go, what is going on? I'm sorry about your situation. No, I'm not buying food stamps. I'm leaving. I bid them adieu. They go, let's go play hide and seek. And I'm like, we're 20. We're 20 years old. I leave. About a year passes. I forget all of that. I noticed that this girl has posted on her Snap story. It was, what is that called? It was not clickbait, but clickbait for like lewds or whatever it's called. It's a thirst trap. Posted a third trap. I go, why did I ever stop talking to this person? And so I hit them up. We talk for a little bit. They buy me a ticket to a festival. like a pop festival. Sorry, not like a soda, but like a popular music festival. And I roll up, and it's in this bad part of I grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was a bad part of Grand Rapids. And I'm like, whatever. My mind is blind. I should be sent to a saw trap at this point. I should be sent to Silent Hill, dude. I should be facing Pyramid Head. I deserve to be in Dead by Daylight looping, the Tokyo Ghoul. And I get out, and it's her and her friend. It's the same one from exactly a year ago. And I get into their yellow Volkswagen Beetle. I think this was like 2018. And I'm wearing the dumbest outfit. I don't know. I'm wearing ankle socks and like boat loafers and like 7-inch inseam shorts, and like a red shirt with a zebra print pocket. What? And that's like beside the point. I still remember that outfit. Why was I wearing that? And we go, and her entire car is filled to the brim with trash. Filled. And we start driving. They take out box mod vapes in the big 18. They take out box mod vapes, and they start ripping them. Hot boxing the yellow Volkswagen Beetle. We end up finally making it to the venue. It's an outside venue, and the way it is, it's like down, it's this huge hill, and at the bottom of this hill is this concert stage, and at the top, I don't know, it's like a lookout or something. We get there, and we're there early. We're there mega early. It's awesome. We have front row, and I didn't do drugs, like I wasn't drunk, I didn't do anything, but I was like, this is awesome. Khaled was going to play, not DJ Khaled, but the guy who made like 18, that song. And it was at like a little bit after the height of his popularity. I'm with front row. I was touching the stage, the guardrail, whatever. And she looks at me and she goes, hey, we got to wait for my friends. So we go and we walk over to the front of the gate and we wait for her friends. For 4 hours. I'm standing there in my boat loafers, small shorts, zebra print pocket red shirt for 4 hours by the gate. The place fills to the brim. To the brim. Finally, her friends show up. It's a bunch of these guys. And instantly, she starts following this guy. This is how it is. We're walking back out, not towards the stage, out towards the back. Don't know where we're going. The guy's walking. He has a camel pack on, and she's drinking warm Coors Light out of the straw behind him. So it's literally like, the kindergarten holding a rope and they're walking together. She's sucking down warm Coors Light, following. And then there's me. Walking behind them. Oh my, take control of your life. Take control of your life, man. They want to go to the top of this hill and listen to a silent disco when there's an entire concert going on. An entire concert of all these pop stars. So we walk up. So on the way up, I go, I'll meet you in a second. I go over to the coffee truck. I order 2 large black coffees, and I chug them. I chug both of them in front. I order them. I'm standing at the edge of the truck. I'm there, grab my coffees. I take the lid off. I go, put down. The woman staring at me who owns this coffee truck. I open the other one, take the cups, throw them in the trash, walk away. I'm like, I need some kind of head buzz. I need to take 6,000 milligrams of caffeine. I didn't do drugs at the time. I did drink, but they did security. You couldn't bring your own drinks, and I wasn't 21 at the time, I don't think. And so what happened was I was trying to get a little buzz from coffee, a little caffeine buzz, walked up the hill. The lady at the coffee truck makes fun of me as I was going around, like, look at me, I'm a joke. What? We're dancing in the silent disco. I'm like, this sucks. This sucks. What am I doing here? This sucks. We leave the silent disco after about an hour. We're like 6 hours into this concert by now. Walk down the hill, and we break off. I break off from the group for a second. I see a buddy from high school. Who like graduated 2 years prior to me graduating in high school. So he was older than me at the time. And I go up to him and I go, dude, oh my God, we'll call him Charles. I go, Charles, dude, I am here on like the worst date I've ever been on. The girl is ignoring me. She's sucking down some dudes, Camel Pack, Coors Light. And I don't know what to, guys, can I just like, can we hang out and like whatever? He's like, yeah, dude. And this guy from high school's here and whatever. Absolutely, bro. We got you. And then I hear behind me and then I see him look up past me. He looks up past me and he goes, I'll say like, Michaela. That's the girl I'm with. And it was like Connie in Attack on Titan when he turns around to see his, like the Titan say his name. They knew each other. She goes and jumps up onto this guy, legs wrapped around him. He has his arms on her lower back as they spin around in front of me. He goes, I didn't know you knew Michaela. I'm on my last. I need red and green herbs from Resident Evil. I have the T virus within me. I go, what is happening? He picks her up, puts her on his shoulders. And he's like, can you take some pictures of us? And I'm there taking pictures of these two together. She gets off his shoulder, walks away. He goes, bro, we used to hook up all the time. I'm Hank Schroeder in the elevator. I go, what is happening to me right now? We start finally, she grabs my hands, walking me into the crowd. I look at her and I go, hey, I got to go use the bathroom. And like the kid in Monster House running away, or like the kid from, or the dad from the Pride family, I start bolting. Like Terminator 2, I start bolting like this, dude. Like I'm a track star, all the way across till I'm in the back of the venue, past the hill, past everything. There's a cop there looking around, and I pretty much grab him by his vest. I go, sir, I am on the worst date of my life. Is there a way out of here that's not through the front? Because she'll see me. He goes, yeah. You can leave here, but you can't come back in. I go, that's the point. The sirens go off. The fog goes in. The paint on the wall starts to peel off. He's like, yeah, you got to go back here and walk down the train tracks and it'll bring you to the front. I call up my brother. I go, yeah, I need help. I'm walking down the train tracks. Defeated. I'm in my dumb loafers. I'm in my stupid shirt with a zebra pocket on it. And I'm walking back and he picks me up and she never texts me. Not that inherently she should have. Well, kind of. If something had happened to me that day and she never texted, she never called, she was never like, not even a single like, hey, where are you? Or like hey, we're concerned, where are you? And of course I would have just messaged her and been like, hey, I'm sorry, I dipped and we'll never talk ever again. And so it's stories like that I'm like, this is what people need to experience. Listen, if you're like, I'm sure that if she does ever tell that story, she will not tell it from my point of view, of course, right? But she may look back and go, hey, that was a little messed up, maybe, right? And acknowledge that. I know people in this world who will do that and just be like, oh my God. Some guy will lead on a girl and be like, no, dude, like I was fully transparent. You knew what you were doing. Fess up. Try to be a bigger man and grow from it, right? Not encouraging that kind of behavior. But I'm just sick of, like, some dude will tell me a story like that. And I go, that is the realest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is so real. And also, no, in college, I also did not go out that much. So again, when I go out, I have an experience like that. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with our life? That was a crazy, we're about halfway through the entire pod. And yeah, all right, well, sorry. The third quarter revenue, yes, this is a little news, but I won't keep it on like the news portion of it, is that Magic the Gathering, Hasbro's revenue increased 8%, but Magic the Gathering revenue grew 55%. We are in a precarious position, folks. The Monopoly Go is not holding us together. And I think this is a crazy thing for Dungeons and Dragons in general, where I'm just like, a little bit of me is like, hey, Hasbro, oh, you should give D&D to someone else. But they're working on apparently like 30 to 40 different TV shows. Tubi movies, maybe even a sequel to Honor Among Thieves. I doubt it. I highly doubt that. At what point does Magic maybe crash? At what point does maybe just Magic go out the window and we're in a bad spot? And TSR was in the early 2000s. D&D was going to be gone. Then Wizards bought them and saved them and made 3.5. I'm starting to think we're heading into a weird direction with that, right? And so it's just bizarre to me to see us in a point where the one company that is holding everything together. There's a thing in the entertainment industry where there are these huge agents, and there is a person who will work at a boutique, have a boutique agency, and they'll get big with that boutique agency, and then they'll go to the big ones. Then they'll drop their boutique agency that made them big, and they'll go to a huge agency, and they'll have the same manager as George Clooney. That's a big trap. And that's how I feel it is in this world as well, where it's like, now this agent in the entertainment industry won't take care of you as good as this boutique agency because George Clooney brings in, or whoever, brings in 95% of this manager's money or this agent's money. And so it's like this thing right now where if Magic is making X amount, like the largest portion of revenue for Hasbro, they're going to neglect these other things more and more as time goes on. And Dungeons and Dragons is something like that. Don't let the flame die out. So always optimistic, always good. And I don't mean to be dragging on anything, but I just thought that was an interesting thing to look at and see more of the trajectory of where things are going. So we're going to go ahead and get into some questions. Might be a shorter episode this week. It's my dad's birthday, so I got to go say hi to him. Dear yelling D&D dude, before getting to my question, I just wanted to say a quick little message. As someone who is in the trades and works in that 120-degree weather you're always talking about, I just wanted to say that you have a gift. Your job seems impossible from my side of the aisle. Do you see why I picked this question? In episode 17 of the podcast, you discussed the roadblocks of a long-form content and the creative process. As someone who doesn't have a creative bone in his body, I want you to know that people like you brighten my day with every upload. You make those 120-degree days feel like a cool 110. Art like yours makes life so much more beautiful than it already is. We all struggle with our own work from time to time, but from what I've seen, you'll have no problem breaking into long-form content. Keep up the great work, boss man. Yeah, I appreciate those kind words. That's really nice. But it is a genuine thing where it's a lot of my high school buddies, a lot of, my buddies that I had when I worked at Chili's or Arby's as a kid. And it's, I hate this sentiment that people are like, well, you're just a garbage worker. You're just a DMV worker. You're a bricklayer. You're a farmer. It's so discouraging to me because it's like, I have a buddy who's a garbage man. We need garbage men. I dare say your job is less important than the guy who picks up my garbage. Not yours or whatever, but I'm in the situation of me talking to someone who works this corporate office job, trying to figure out how to make their shareholders 0.001% more money. And it's just so true that I hate this, like everyone fits into a role, right? And they're like, and people work so hard for this. And I'm trying to be so genuine about it, right? And a lot of people are like, well, Dak, these imaginary blue collar workers. I'm like, even if there's one dude who has to deal every day with people yelling at him because they put their garbage away wrong, they didn't pick it up, and then their boss is yelling at them and whatever. Like, even at that point, I just want to be like, hey, no one in the D&D community, of course, addresses blue-collar workers or farmers or anyone like that. But I know there are people out there that mix this world together. And I want to say, you're appreciated. I appreciate the work. You are the reason that this world goes round and round, right? I don't have to think about my garbage because I throw it away and it's gone forever. And I can't stand people like that. I really can't. And I think that just comes from, growing up in a very rural, I went to a school in a very rural area, and then I went to college in like this weird, bizarre, like everyone who had went there knew each other because they all went to the same private schools and they were all part of the same community. And because I went to like a Dutch Calvinist school, and then they all knew each other because they went to the same churches, and it's like, and then I left, I went to LA, and I'm like, I see all these different forms of people, and I just like, I keep circling back to like the ones that I just agree with the most are like my industry workers, like servers and bartenders, like people who, are just a little bit more down to earth. And I don't know. I appreciate you saying that, because the creative stuff is hard. Like, we have 4 long form videos coming out next month, an episode of Corners included in that. I'm trying to put out 2 short forms every week as well, and trying to keep up that. And it's like pretty much a one-man show. I do all of it. I edit everything. I edit the podcast. I edit the long form. I write all of it. I shoot all of it. I, of course, act in all of it. My girlfriend is like the only other person who helps me out. And that's for like a multitude of reasons, right? We are budgeting out for a few different things. There are a few things in the future that are kind of getting in the way of us, getting a bigger space. And I'm trying to get like a warehouse, not like a warehouse, but a barn or like some larger building so I can just shoot there, because I want to be making these skits and content that aren't the same as the last 2 years. I might even, I don't think I will, but I think I might do a thing where like I have this high production value and I shoot it in short form and I shoot it in long form. And, there's different ways, maybe different endings or whatever. Just trying to keep things a little bit fresh. And then, Corners is great. And I will continue to make Corners, but I want to make more stuff like Corners. And I want to work with other people who aren't just me. The short form stuff is so interesting. Sorry, I rubbed my face in my cat. Now I'm messing with all of it. The short form stuff is great, but the long form stuff, and the thing about the short form stuff is if I were to have it where it's a bunch of different people, like there is literally diminishing returns to how high your quality of content is, and like having different people, like people's imagination is so powerful in short form, but it's not in long form. So I want to make like a skit show that's long form with different actors and me, and like, I funny enough, I wanted to like make a pilot for that. Not exactly for, like, I wanted to do it for like something for like Beacon or Dropout or something like that. And who knows, maybe that's down the road and it's something I'm working on. But it's like, I also want to work on the audio drama. I want to work on this and that. So I appreciate the kind words. There's a lot more in the future, and we're going to keep trying to grind and get stuff out. And I appreciate what you guys do in society, even if you don't acknowledge it. And I also appreciate the kind words to make it so that maybe I can give you a little bit of a reprieve and a laugh every now and again. Anyways, this wasn't just a Glaze question. He says, now to the question, how do you make your players feel like the main characters? What are your core rules for doing this right? Do you allow them to stretch the rules a little to make something more flavorful, cool? Is it all about the description used in scenes? Do you use items to give them cool abilities? I feel like it's easy to make a villain feel powerful because I can literally make them do anything. I just want to make sure my players feel the same way about themselves. I don't think power equals protagonist, right? I think it's just, it is literally their story. I actually get a lot of questions about how to subvert my players into making them realize the world is bigger and they're not the main characters, like they're just a cog in this larger world. So I find this very interesting if you're having a problem with that. Which is, I think it's more about the literal perspective of the story, right? I think that if you realize or show that your character's making the biggest impact out of anybody in a certain world, out of a certain like hero group, out of like a government, out of anything, think like to Fallout, like you're the lone wanderer. There's ways to make a big world and make your characters the protagonists of that, right? Don't detract from, all because they're losing to villains, all because they're having a hard time fighting, doesn't mean that they're not heroes. You know what I mean? You can be a level 1 whatever and be a hero because you save a cat out of a tree, you defeat a goblin party, It's not about giving them levels or power-ups or items. It's about how they act in the world. It's about what their impact is in the world. So I don't think it's a gimmick. Making your heroes feel like heroes, making your players feel like heroes is not a gimmick. It's not something you can give them because of an item. This is literally what the plot is about. It's what their story's about. You know, not every story needs to be Lord of the Rings, right? You watch something like The Whale. That was a bad example. I haven't seen The Whale. You watch something like A Marriage Story, right? They're not fighting orcs and goblins, but they're the main characters. And I wonder what makes you feel like they're not the heroes. They're not the main power in the story. Because it should be through their lens. It should be you directing them through the world through their lens. So that might also just be a thing of like, they might be bored in some capacity. If there's nothing happening, I can see how your players would be like, I don't feel like anything. I've had that many times where, you know, I go out and there's a courtyard and it's like, you can talk to all these people. And I'm like, this is the third session. And I've shopped a bunch. And so I'd take a look at that, but it's not a gimmick. I wouldn't say that's a gimmick. All right. Hello from England. This story is from years ago and very early in my tabletop career, but it lingers in my mind as something I don't know if I regret or not, and I would love to know your take. I was one of 2 players in a Warhammer 40K Dark Heresy campaign with my flatmates. See? You are from England. Flatmates. And we were, of course, both playing acolytes of the Inquisition, except I was a sanctioned psyker. Psychers, for those who don't know, Warhammer 40K is just like a psionist, a person who uses like, I mean, it's way more complicated than that. They tap into the warp, whatever, but it's pretty much like they can use their mind to interact with things in the world, talk to people in their head, get information out of people. One session, we found a book. Anytime you find a book in the Warhammer 40K universe, stay away from it. Stay away from it. I think that's the number one thing that Warhammer 40K is trying to tell you. If you see a book, don't read it because it'll make you go insane. And this book was very obviously heretical and an object of chaos filled with mind-corrupting writings. Another thing, if a book has a symbol of chaos on it, don't read it because you will turn into a heretic. And an object of chaos filled with mind-corrupting writings of a chaos god cultist. What did Eisenhorn's Prodigy say? I didn't read his like books yet, but Eisenhorn's Prodigy was like, we all eventually succumb to this stuff because we're all surrounded by it, you know? So I'm getting off a topic. Filled with mind-corrupting, and this book was heretical and an object of chaos filled with mind-corrupting writings of a chaos god cultist. In my mind, this book had to be eviscerated. I like how you go in my mind. I go objectively. In the mind of the god emperor of humanity, it was literally our character's job to cleanse the universe of heresy. Yeah. But the other player, this guy I lived with, gleefully went to read it, knowing full well what it meant for his character in the story. A short aside, his character's backstory was that he went from a jungle planet with kaijus, pretty much a power fantasy insert. I think there are like kaijus in Warhammer. I don't think they're called kaijus. I don't know. Sometimes I read too fast, guys. I'll be honest with you. So he's pretty much a power fantasy self-insert, and he really didn't want to be part of the Inquisition and wasn't brainwashed by Empire propaganda, which also bugged me, but might not be relevant. Oh, dude, I'd be so pissed. I'd be so pissed. I played, when I played Warhammer Wrath and Glory, I like played with a person who was a rogue trader that was like, yes, of course I believe that the God Emperor is great and everything like that. And I think that's a fine thing to do if you're a rogue trader, right? Like this is for my Warhammer fans, and there's people who know lore way more than me. But I'm like, if you said even like that sarcastically, like a bolter would go, like you're playing with a sister of battle. She would rip, you know that Chris Evans, like he rips the log in half. That's what the sister of the battle would do. Just grab you by your ass and just rip you in half, dude. I decided to use my psyker ability to control my minds and force him to destroy the book before reading it, saving him from chaos. The DM ruled that it was okay, and we did contested rolls. I rolled better, and thus his character lost control for a moment and destroyed the book. I'm assuming you destroyed the book. He lost control of the book. I don't know. Either way, the book's destroyed. And because of you. Dude, he went ballistic. We argued. He said I took away his player agency. Not another player's. That is not another player's thing to worry about. Another player, if you're doing something dumb and another player interrupts you, it's not because they're taking away your player agency. All right? And there's, to be fair, like there's the opposite side of the coin where you're like just trying to do something and then the funny chaos person messes it up. But another player shouldn't worry about another player's agency because you guys both have the equal amount of agency, right? Even if you're being annoying, which is like no matter what, everyone has the same agency, right? But if you're being annoying, it should be taken away from you in some capacity. The session ended and we didn't play again for months. I still think about it sometimes. What do I think? What do I think? I think you should have had a bigger table, number one. I've said this before, have 3 kids, not 2. Was I in the wrong? No, you're not in the wrong. I think this guy was being a little, oppositional defiant. I think he was trying to be, I'm not going to fall for, my OC wouldn't fall for the Emperor's propaganda. Yeah? Are you not going to believe the Emperor's propaganda? Oh, all of a sudden, oh my God, I want to fill myself with endless lust and fervent. I don't know what fervent means. Endless lust and indulgence. All of a sudden, I want to know about sorcery and endless war and blood for the blood god and skulls for the skull throne. I don't think people realize that, I would never fall for empire propaganda. You would turn into a nurgling. That's not how that works. But you would fall to pestilence and Zinch and Nurgle but they want to be oppositional defiant. No, I wouldn't in the Warhammer 40k universe. My OC would never fall for this kind of stuff. Oh my God. Yep, it's about you, man. Let's not indulge ourselves in the story. Let's go. No, actually, I would never do that in a million years. He is the guy that he's the 11th Primarch. He's the 2nd and 11th Primarch. I'm sorry, I don't know. Whatever the Primarchs that are missing, I don't know. Yeah, dude, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just annoying. And this is not even a problem with them not knowing Warhammer. And this goes for any Warhammer 40K. This goes for any kind of homebrew world. People will just be annoying for the sake of the gotcha moment, for the gasp at the table, for the, my character butted. Well, I'm smarter than that. That's how some people are. And call them out on it. And continue to berate that into him. You didn't do anything wrong. Anyone who has read anything, and if you're during the Horus Heresy, if you're playing something through the Horus Heresy, this says Dark Heresy campaign. I don't know what that is. And see, that's how easy it is. Sometimes, guys, we can acknowledge that we don't know everything. You know what? Sometimes you can just smile and nod too. No, this guy was being annoying. You were not taking away his agency. That's not your agenda to even try to keep up with or care about. He wanted to be, my OC fights kaijus and would go against the Emperor propaganda. Would never fall for that kind of stuff. I'll grab the Nefarious Heretic book. I'm interested in what the DM would say about this. He clearly does not want you guys to open the Heresy book. He wants to on the level probably, or they, or she wants to know on some level what exactly is would happen if you did open the book, but not enough to be because if your DM has 2 players, they can't have one be a heretic. You just can't. It'd ruin everything. So I don't think he did anything wrong. I'm physically exhausted now, but not even going to attempt to say this is the same day. So we're just going to get into super chats. Super thanks. Toxicity2449 cents, big $5. Hey, Zach, hope all is well. I recently became a weekly viewer of the podcast and just wanted to say thanks for giving me something to look forward to every week. I shared the podcast with my brother, who also loves MTG and D&D and is halfway across the country. Because of work, your show has given us something to keep in touch with and talk about. Thanks again, and shout out Sergio. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are staying in touch despite the distance. Tetternit sent $5. Hey, Zach, couldn't help but notice at the end of the episode, you called my idea to call TTRPGs roll games is bad. What you're forgetting is I gave you money, therefore you're legally obligated to agree with everything I say. Them the rules, pals, unjerk, rejerk, D&D Germa, blue collar, HVAC boys, etc. Am I any different from the 6-7 combi lane mechanism guys? Am I? All of a sudden, unjerk, rejerk, D&D Germa, blue collar, HVAC. I'm no different. Yeah, I appreciate you saying role games to prove that, if you donate and, I don't have to, this is a private business. I don't have to agree with you. Vanio sent $10. I'll try to keep it as short as I can, Mr. Han Solo the Bold. That was an awesome outfit, and the hat was cool. To answer your question for my last super chat, I stopped proxying due to my pod not liking it, despite some of them saying it's fine, and me matching the average power level. Never went overboard, but I'd still receive a lot of poking for proxying. So I stopped, especially because they're the ones who taught me and got me into MTG, and I got to play weekly with them. But I told them now that I'm spending actual money on Magic, I'll be making my deck as strong as I want, and that I created minor issues as well, but that's a story for another time. Yeah, I would have kept proxying, and I would have stuck to my guns and made fun of them. But for reasons that you'll see in the near future, I will wait at least 1 month to make fun of people who proxy, or to defend people who proxy. Proxy. But he's saying fake cards and doesn't matter. The Passy sent $5. Zach the Foretold, thanks for incredible videos. You talked about Dark Sun a few episodes back and reminded me of dude, I can't read, bro. I just can't read. Exits Examined. It's a YouTube channel that covers a lot of IP past their prime, and they do a lot of 80s pulpy stuff like old D&D campaign settings such as Dark Sun. They even cover the controversies. There are a lot of other interesting old forgotten D&D settings, which makes you wonder, what if we didn't get the Forgotten Realms? Highly recommend them. Keep up the great work. We don't get anything anymore. Also, I do reference these guys in one of my long forms where I talk about D&Ds and its identity. What if we didn't get the Forgotten Realms? What if we got any campaign? What if we got any setting? What if we got anything like that? What if we didn't get Forgotten Realms? We don't. We have nothing. Thank you for the big 5. Tic Tac 21 2 sent £4.99. Hey, Zach's greetings from the UK. I have a homebrew setting that I'm renewing after my previous campaign. I ran died due to scheduling issues, and I'm going through the lore again to give it a facelift. The issue I'm facing is that I have a kingdom that is defined by being disorganized and unified, which includes their pantheon of gods. In this kingdom, there are multiple deities for the same thing, and I'm struggling to keep track and make sure there are many gods. My question is here, when you're making a setting, do you have a method for making interesting deities for the setting? For context as to why there's so many gods in my setting are formed from the consensus of culture, from the mass unconscious of society, and this kingdom is deeply disorganized, made from many smaller societies collected together. Yeah, I don't make my pantheons too much in my D&D worlds, and I especially don't make it where there's countless. Because a lot of them don't come up. So I kind of make it as we go on. The last campaign I made just had the Abrahamic God had the Christian God in it. So it kind of, that was kind of easy to deal with. Of course, it was not in there, but it was set in, like an alternate timeline of history where there's magic. So I don't know. Making pantheons has never really done it for me. I like political espionage, political interactions more than the gods and the religious ones. So I don't know. I guess I would say my true advice is to not make more gods than you're gonna show in the game, because then you're gonna overwhelm yourself with other stuff when you'll overwhelm yourself with details that don't need to be there. But I guess if I did try to make some pantheon, well, I don't even see. It's like so uninteresting to me that I don't even have an idea of like what to tell you. I'd be like, make a god of time. Like I like Murph's, like Brian Murphy's argument for. He's like, I just take the D&D 5e pantheon and put it in. So I'll let you know. I'm working on a new campaign right now for my home group, and I'll let you know what I kind of come up with there. Tanaka the Cowboy sent 10 PLN. What is that? PLN. That is currency legal tender of Poland. I got some Polish dollars. Thank you. Yes, I was just eating my favorite sandwich-like food from the infamous McDonald's-like chain Jackbox, and now I get to enjoy my favorite PewDiePie-like, Germa-like, Han Solo-like YouTuber rant about Monopoly-like games and read about loud 5-minute-long emails about the first-time DMs trying to get their Friend of the Month award instead of just running a basic game of Daggerheart D&D or the D&D 3.5-like games. Thanks for bringing the fresh of breath air into this hobby. You're not just a funny shorts guy. You are legitimately impacting and building the future of storytelling games. Don't put that on me. It might not be a brighter future, but our timeline still has a chance. Get in, losers. We're making RPGs fun again. Love the pod. Love the long form. Love your work. Thanks for everything. Thank you. I love this menagerie of Jackbox, PewDiePie-like, Cherma-like. Guys, I came up with something. You can go 6-7 into you can go Cobby Lane mechanism into 6-7. Let's do that. Let's start doing that, guys. Thank you for the big Polish 10. And Fresh Up Breath Airs is a Gorillaz reference. Triscuit sent $5. I'm at work and this came out. Just watched someone steal 70-inch 4K TV because I was busy on my phone. Am I cooked? No. I would say don't interfere. You'll go to jail. You'll go to jail and be ostracized. That aside, you made me want to start a campaign. My girlfriend has been wanting me to play forever, so now I'm making a campaign with a lich. Kind of took inspiration from Grayscale from Game of Thrones and the king sends adventurers to kill them for a silver a head. I was planning on having the king reveal that he hired them after poisoning the population to gather souls so he could become a lich. I actually think that's kind of cool. All right, I'm kind of on board with that. And remember, you're not learning D&D. You're learning a role game. You're learning a role game. These are role games, folks. Then I wanted to see if they make it their problem and help out. Does that sound reasonable? I don't know. I've been out of D&D for like 3 to 4 years now. I think that's a great idea. I think that's totally fine. Thanks for another podcast, Mr. DeBold Ronaldo. I wanted to... Oh, this is from Big $5 from Pyotech Nick 77. That's a clever name. I do want to point out about Los Angeles. Please travel places south of the 10 and east of the 110. The actor and artist creator bubble is so restricting and hollow. I implore you to go to the other cities outside that bubbles. The food and people are much better, not fake or with an agenda. Magic the Gathering. Have you visited Frank & Son Collectibles in City of Industry? I have not visited that. And that is true. I don't go out enough, so it's like going below the 10 or east. Is Victorville a part of Los Angeles? I'd like to make the claim that it is. I'd like to make the heart of Los Angeles is Victorville. So maybe I'll go out to Victorville and I'll get some food and I'll get out of the actor, artist, and creator bubble, which is restricting and sometimes hollow. So funny enough, our creatives are sometimes the most hollow people. Oh, isn't that good? Cobby Lane mechanism into 6-7. Let's go on to the next one. Papillon 7210 sends a big $10. Thank you, Papillon. Do you have the boosters? Yes, we do, sir. Good. That's one less loose end. Oh, is this a reference to a movie I haven't seen? Do you have the boosters? Dude, Papillon, sometimes I read your super chats and I feel like the dumbest moron to ever exist ever. Yes, we do, sir. Good. That's one less loose end. Hold. That's one less loose. Is this my prediction is that this is the Usual Suspects line? Nope. Hold on. I don't think I've seen this. Oh, it's from Call of Duty. Oh, is that when Ghost or you hand the thing over to him? Yeah, that's what it is. I do know this reference, and that's why you made it. I brought up a Modern Warfare 2 reference last episode. Do you have the boosters? Yes, we do, sir. Good. That's one less loose end. Danger close. I gotta get my Shepherd voice, and then you shoot him. No! That's what you do. Dude, that was such a good campaign. I'm so sad this Battlefield 6 campaign just sucks. Like, I want a good, like Modern Warfare 1 or 2 or 3 Black Ops 2-esque campaign. I loved that stuff. And I feel like I just can't see it. Everyone works too hard on the multiplayer because that's where the money is. And guys, I'm on that train of like, I'm praying. I spent $70 on Battlefield 6. If they start making dumb skins, because there was a little controversy. Someone made a blue tiger. The first skin that they're coming out with is like a blue tiger. It's not that jarring. It's not that bad. It's actually kind of good because their camo is worse. It's like way worse. But this is the slippery slope, fellas. This is the slippery slope. Next thing you know, you're gonna have secret layers. Guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is Zachary Ronaldo, better known as Zach the Bold. This is my podcast. This is the only D&D podcast for news. This is the biggest D&D news podcast where we talk nothing else about D&D, Dropout, and Critical Role. And the Adventure Zone, and not another D&D podcast and Dungeon Daddies. Oh, I shouldn't go down. I shouldn't try to name every adventure like actual play I've ever listened to. And skill check. And but thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great week. Sorry for the late upload because I already know. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, and also to that guy who emailed me about Attack on Titan, you're coping. All right, bye.